live. I'm working with a new mic this week, so I'm gonna give a shout out to Scorpion for lending me this expensive Shure microphone. Shout out Scorpion Percussion. So hopefully everybody can hear me okay. Just want to say what's up to everybody. I got here as usual with the crew. I got my man Elvis in Indianapolis. Go Steelers. Tough loss for the Redskins.
That was a good game, really good game though, but tough loss.
Yeah, that was a great game. And then of course Mike, who is now back from Guantanamo.
Yep, I'm back from Guantanamo.
And they're giving him. They just gave him a fresh cup of coffee right now.
Well, he was
I think it's a tea, hot tea, hot tea.
So he's doing such a great job as a lawyer that they put him in internet jail. So
exactly,
he's out of internet jail. He's on bail. Yeah. We bailed him out. So
I was just say they put me international. I appreciate you guys coming to my defense and helping me out.
We had to get rid of that South African SIM card he was using for his internet. So
thank God for Starlink.
Yeah, man, get yourself some Starlink, guys. What else is new? What's going on in New York? I saw there was like a building on fire there earlier today, or like a mechanical fire that's puffing smoke into the city. I'm not sure if you made it all the way down there into Yonkers.
I'm not too familiar with that, but we do have some wildfires, like forest fires, actually in Jersey, that's working its way over to New York. So pretty interesting though, because you don't usually get you don't get fires like forest fires around us. So yeah, it's hitting us. I think they said last that it was contained, but the embers and everything are like making its way over to the city. So you could definitely smell it in the air. Like, Ricardo's body odor within 2 feet. So yeah.
Absolutely. I tried to go au natural. I found that when I don't shower, it only turns off other men, and so that kind of helps, kind of like level the playing field. So yeah,
that's just because women won't tell him he smells.
Nobody, because they don't care. And I mean, they smell too. I just don't tell them either.
I can see that.
Over in the Midwest, everybody's jazzed up. Indiana has a bye week, and then they play Ohio State. So everybody's
your football team is doing well. I was going to say Ohio State. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yep, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be super fun. We're going to be there to check it out. Flying out to Indianapolis, home of the Brave. Also,
me.
That's right, Elvis. I think that's the most interesting thing
is the home of the
going on.
Pat McAfee's cooler than I am.
But he's not that interesting.
The city?
Yeah, what? Pat McAfee's?
Home of the Brave?
I have no idea what the motto is. It's a Hoosier state, man.
I'm just making it up. I mean, but if there's any states out there that need me to help name or give your state a motto, please call me. I'm happy to do it for you. Got really good mottos. Not cheap, but it's good.
No, sir.
What's your track record? What's the best motto you've come up with? Is there a website I can go to see all your mottos?
So a company approached me, and it was it was during, I want to say like 13 or 16, where one of these years, which is mostly every year, where I thought the world was definitely going to end and we were living in tribulation. And so, they were like, what would be a really great name that would cut through all of the other gene companies? And I was like, look, man, don't you want, like, if you really, really believe in God, don't you want his name stretched across your booty? So I came up with Jesus Christ Jeans, right? JC Jeans. Yeah,
and did you actually get paid for this idea?
No, they got laughed out of the park.
Did somebody actually come to you and ask you?
But like J and C, in like, what better way to welcome the second coming of the Lord than with Jesus Christ Jeans?
Well, I take great offense to this because I'm very religious, and Catholicism is very important in my life. So I don't joke around about JC or God itself. So can we move on because this is going against my religious beliefs?
Then you're gonna be
Thank
really
you.
you're gonna be really shocked when they release the Diddy list because I think you might have been there.
I quit. I quit.
You turn lube into wine.
Oh wow, that's a
So
great
did
one.
you so wait, hold on. Did you guys hear about that? All those bottles of like baby oil or actually wasn't baby oil. Supposedly it was
GHB.
I don't know, what is that, THP?
Oh, okay. So yeah, this is something I've tried myself. Um,
Of course, of course.
oh yeah, this is a great story, and since we have 0 viewers, it's the perfect time to tell it. So this one time, I met a girl who was really cool, right? But she was a stripper in Vegas, and she lived in San Diego. And I guess all of the really good strippers live in other cities, and they just fly to Vegas to do their job and then get the fuck out, so they don't get like attacked or anything like that. And this was one of them. And she was cute, asked me out. I like that when girls do that. And so we went to a bar here in town in San Diego. We're having a great time, and she said, "Hey, have you ever tried GHB?" And I said no. And we put a little bit in our drink, and you get really like the best way to describe it is like you just get really kind of drunk really fast. You get euphoric. You're kind of dizzy. You feel like you're
Okay.
floating. And apparently, like she took a little bit more than I did, and she couldn't talk. Right, so she got
What?
to the point where she couldn't talk, and like we were going back to my place, and she couldn't like articulate what she needed. And then like I was like, okay, well, I'm sure she'll be fine. And I turned around in the elevator and hit the button, and then I turned back around, and she's literally just straight up peeing as hard as she can, like in her dress on the
What?
elevator. Couldn't control it, couldn't articulate that she needed to use the toilet, had to carry her onto the toilet. She ended up spending a couple hours there before she made it to the couch or whatever. So that's my experience with GHB. I would say that if you
That's
overdose,
insane.
if you did too much of it, man, like you're out, dude. It's time travel. Like there's nothing that's going to prevent you from not understanding what's going on, especially with if you mix it with alcohol and all these other things. Like yeah, it's one where like if you took one bong hit too much, that's like you don't remember the night. But one bong hit too little, right? And like you can have a great time. So there's a very thin threshold for like overdosing on it, and I think that's what makes it really scary. And I don't know how a lot of people have died from it. I do believe it can cause cardiac arrest, but yeah, I mean definitely something that can be transdermally taken, which is what I think what they were doing is rubbing the baby oil during the back rubs, which to me like makes me feel like I was very advanced as a high schooler, because in high school when I wanted to hook up with a girl, I would always offer them a back rub first. And so the fact that Diddy, a billionaire, is still has to use the back rub first method to get in the pants of the people that he likes, I thought was kind of hilarious.
A GHB back rub.
Apparently that's the case.
That's
I
the
don't
fun.
know. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, who knows? But like,
How many fucking bottles did he have? It was like insane. Like he took all the baby oil out and put that stuff in it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little shocked that he's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, there's some issues. Permeable membranes in the rectum. If you use lube in the wrong places, that could be pretty bad, straight in the bloodstream.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I'm just still like with Diddy
no
right
bueno.
now. I don't know what's going on with that, quite honestly, because all I see is every day you see a new report, basically how another celebrity settled the case, but their name's not out there.
Right. Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
celebrity, another A celebrity, another A celebrity. Like I think it was Ray J the other day that had a interview where he was talking about how all these A celebrities are just throwing ridiculous numbers out there to settle these cases, the civil lawsuits, so that their names don't get out there. I want to know who that is.
Yeah, do you guys think that a lot of these people that are leaving the United States leaving because they're going to be exposed on some sort of a Diddy list, or is there a name?
You're cutting out. There's something wrong. There's a loose wire on your mic somewhere. It keeps every time you move, it cuts it out.
That's probably what Doug didn't tell me about this. Is that how about? Can you guys hear me? Okay, though.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good now. Yeah, you're good now.
Okay,
It's
great.
not cutting out.
Then I won't touch the
Yeah.
mic anymore. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Fuck, now I forgot what I was gonna
There's
say.
some strange list out there you were talking about.
Okay, so like you know how we had like when Brad got together with Jennifer Aniston, there was like Brennifer or whatever. We need a name like that.
Brangelina.
Whatever. Yeah, that guy. Brangelina. We need a name like that for the combination of the Diddy and Epstein list together, right? We need
Mm.
We're still waiting for the Epstein list. Like,
Puffstein.
yeah, I think I that case still to this
Dubstein.
day, that
Dubstein list.
Epstein, that case still to this day, I gotta be honest with you, is so sketchy. And like, there are people that were really trying to hide that person and that list and everything possible. I'm sorry, it just doesn't add up unless they're trying to hide something.
I agree.
Well, there's just way too much fuckery afoot. Like the Hunter Biden laptop and the Diddy list and the Epstein list, and like, can we just? I mean, we don't really give a crap, but we want to know. Like, we would just like to know. What's so hard about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Um,
it's national security. They can't tell us.
so
Okay.
I mean, now that Tulsi Gabbard is going to be the national security head of national security, is that what she got?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're going to find out a lot. And so, did you see also? And this can be counted as one of my topics or not, but like so, uh, on the 13th, four officials get. I don't know what makes them official, right? Went out before Congress and basically admitted that we are in possession of non-human technology. That was
Who said this?
yesterday. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
that's just another one of those, like, let's look. Oh, look over here, shiny
Yeah,
object.
yeah.
no,
Yeah,
I think you're right too. Yeah, I think you're
yeah,
right.
yeah. They just keep throwing aliens out every time they do something stupid, and we hear
yeah,
about it.
it's distraction 101. It's distraction. I don't want you to see what's going on over here. So we're going to talk about aliens because we know everybody's so interested over here.
Because everybody's talking about all the appointments that Trump's making, and so like that's what everybody wants to talk about is this like crazy. I mean, crazy is
Wow,
not really the word, but it's
he,
just kind of crazy the plan he's put in place. I,
it's
I think it's going to be great, but it is insane some of the things. So
I well, the thing that's interesting for me is some of his appointments. They are literally make it everybody lose their minds, not
yeah,
just Republican
Matt
or Democrat.
Gaetz. Yeah,
Yeah,
Matt
they're not
Gaetz is the one.
making like I'm talking about. Some of these picks are out of left field. They're not like people that have clearances, been in the government for X, Y, Z years, specialty areas, doing certain things. I'm talking about they're out of left field, and people like I saw a Bolton on CNN losing his mind, literally talking about some of these nominations. Like I'm literally losing his mind. Like this guy was a insider for how many years when it came to the government. All of a sudden, some of these nominations are unconventional, and people don't even know how to react to it. But I look at it, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe people are in these positions not because of political connections, but maybe these people are getting put into these positions because they genuinely care about things and want to make change. They have experience in areas and they think they can make change.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I was reading about, this is kind of a segue into this, but basically, it was talking about how one of the worst things you can do as a manager is hold on to that you're hiring. Like, so if you hire somebody and you really want to keep that person because like it's a reflection of you as a hiring manager, whether or not that person succeeds or not. But the best thing you can do is just get rid of crappy people, right? And I think that what we saw with Trump's first presidency is he got rid of people if they sucked, and they made all kinds of excuses of why he got fired, and that Trump was an asshole or whatever it is. But I think this is what we're seeing is like Trump's just bringing people in that are either going to succeed or they're not going to succeed, and he's not worried about firing people. He's not worried about bringing people in that don't have any political experience because maybe they might be able to solve some problem that no one's ever seen before. And I'm curious to see because like we've said before, what has been happening in the past is not working. So honestly, most of the time when it comes to Trump, I'm just happy to see like pushing frap on the blender and just see what happens because it's more entertaining than what has been happening.
Well, he's doing something new this time compared to last time. This time, he's doing his nominations all before he gets into office. I think he's well versed now after having his first 4 years and what happened. So now he's like, okay, we're going to have a jump start on this. This is what our plan is. We're going to start getting these people out there. We're going to get them nominated and then go forward. I think his plan this time is completely different, and I think it's a much more strategic plan. Um, the couple of his nominations that he's named, I'm not too familiar with. I can't sit there and speak to their legal background, their military background, so I'm kind of still figuring it out. I have to say the jury's still out. But he's taking, I'm not going to lie, he is taking chances by putting some of these people out there. And I give him credit. I give him credit to doing that because the conventional way, like you said, has not been working. It's actually been going backwards. Yeah, we should see.
Yeah, I mean, so let's go and make a rundown as we talk about how Trump builds furniture, building his cabinet, and so far, what do we got? We got Tulsi Gabbard for national Tulsi Gabbard for national Tulsi Gabbard for national security. What is it? Secretary
advisor?
No, she's the Department of Intelligence.
National Intelligence Secretary. Then we got who else? We got Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. Is that correct?
I gotta look up all of them.
Yeah, I gotta look it up. I know Matt Gaetz is a senator. He's the new attorney general. That's one that everybody's really up in arms about because he's a pretty hardliner, conservative.
Oh yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people that aren't really happy, but he's a Trump loyalist. So
yeah. So let's see. We got we got National Security Advisor Michael Waltz. We have Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem. She's from North Dakota?
Oh yeah, the chick that shot her dog. I like her.
Yep. And Tulsi Gabbard is Director of National Intelligence. EPA Administrator is Lee Zeldin. U.S. Ambassador to Israel is Mike Huckabee. That's an interesting one.
He picked Huckabee?
Yeah.
He's
an ex-senator. He's an ex-senator.
For Israel?
Yeah. I'm not too familiar with his relations there, but
the most religious, the most Christian guy ever to be the ambassador to Israel. That's an interesting pick. I like that. I would keep an eye on that, folks.
Did you see Robert F. Kennedy today?
Yeah.
Nomination for Health and Human Services.
But that's pretty obvious, though. I mean, he's the one who wanted to tackle all of this, like get the crap out of the food,
I love it. I love it. Because he's at a position where he can direct things, he can look into things. He's not the medical scientist or the doctor or the PhD behind everything, but he gets to turn around and have focus on areas and tell people, okay, this is what we're going to look at. This is what we think. I like it. I think it's actually a good decision. It's a good appointment there. But let's remember this also, like some of these positions are nominations. They still have to go through the vetting process. They still have to go to the committee hearings. And we shall see what happens during those.
So let me ask you this, Mike. What kind of, like, you think some of this momentum about like picking his cabinet members and sort of like getting the ball rolling, doesn't it feel a little bit like he's sort of like involving as many people as he can before he gets confirmed in case something happens at the actual confirmation?
I think it's more of getting his agenda going. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to get the minuscule things out of the way by getting the major appointments out of the way. So once he gets into the office, hey guys, this is my agenda. This is what I want to do. On day one, we're going to hit it running, and this is how we're going to do it. And I think when you have all the minuscule things, the nominations done, it opens up your ability to get things. Now, you got to remember, this guy is a billionaire entrepreneur with multiple different projects, with multiple things going on, buildings, golf courses, resorts, licensing his name. He was involved in a multitude of different things. This guy knows how to multitask just in general with all different things. And I think he's trying right now to realize, okay, if I can get these small things out of the way by the nominations, I can multitask on all the other bigger things and make those important decisions. I don't think he's concerned about anything happening to him on, confirmation day. I think it's a little bit of a different dynamic now where he is the president elect. He is going. Yeah, remember he won the popular vote. It's not like last time. Like people really want this guy there, and trust me, the government and the military, they're going to make sure this guy's safe and sound and protected. So I'm not concerned about that anymore. People are going to try to do things, but the full force of the U.S. government, let alone Army, Navy, Secret Service, are going to be behind this guy.
Well, he talked about it on the Rogan podcast about how he felt like, he had so many appointments to make. Start off the bat, he just spent way too much time appointing people, and people were giving him all kinds of advice on who to appoint, who not to appoint. And I think he's just, like you were saying, just kind of trying to be more efficient with his time. He's got 2 months before he takes over. What can be accomplished in that 2 months that doesn't involve, like, obviously policy stuff, because he's not the president. And appointing the cabinet is something that could be done that doesn't need to happen after he takes office. So I think it's just another efficiency thing, which that's another topic altogether.
I was cracking up, though. I got to say this to you guys. I was cracking up. Yesterday he went and met Biden at the White House, shaking hands, everybody, they smiling, grinning, having nice conversations. He was there for 2 hours. And then all of a sudden, what was it? 3 hours later, he's on his plane, and that's when they make the announcement of Matt. What's her name? And basically the whole world, or should I say, the political arena went nuts about that. It was interesting the fact that he didn't announce that early in the day, because I can tell you right now, if he announced that early in the day, he wouldn't have had such a warm reception at the White House.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Hey, he's smart. He's not an idiot. I mean,
he's strategic. He's very strategic.
Other thing I really liked about this, which I thought was interesting, was that he started his transition team, and he's funding it. He's self-funding his transition team, and so I think that's really interesting. So what that tells me is that every other president before him that has gone with the transition team that the previous administration has provided has literally been fucked. Right? Because why else would he do that? Right? And so, I think that a lot of the stuff that happened before, including people refusing to give him intelligence briefings and all that bullshit, it's really interesting. He's a quick learner, right? But it also says, to me, it makes me think oh, well, then what about all the other motherfucking presidents that didn't do that? So they're basically the outgoing administration just burning papers and planting moles. I mean, that's so not conducive to a democratic transition of power, right? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Not one bit.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating for sure. But that's, I think being in the government for a long time, right? Taking over is even in the corporate sector, in the corporate world, you take over a new position, there's an expected grace period, 3 to 6 months, because nobody ever really knows how to do the job that they're getting hired to do. And I think the difference between Trump now and Trump before is, now he actually knows. Before, he didn't actually know what it was going to entail. He'd never been the president. But here there's no grace period. He's already been the president. There's no learning. There's no learning curve anymore. And I think he's trying to optimize his 4 years. He's trying to. We do it in the military all the time. We call it getting frocked. So you'll get selected for promotion, but you won't actually get paid for 6 months. But you get pinned. And you take over the role, you take over the job that your rank says you are, even though you're not, officially supposed to get promoted for another 6 months. And it's just efficiency. It's just so that you take over the role 6 months prior to when you're actually getting paid for it. It seems like the same thing. He's just trying to be efficient with his time, trying to use whatever time he has before taking office to just get shit accomplished. Because he's got some plans for the 4 years, and this 2 months is just 2 extra months that he's got for the on top of the 4 years. So
Well, he's already setting things up. He's already made calls. He's already talked to leaders. He's already had conversations. If you don't believe that he's already talked to Israel, if he has already talked to Ukraine, if he already talked to Russia, now one party might say they haven't spoken, but come on, these are major these are major issues. These are major things that are going on right now. There's some promises that he's made that he's trying to keep. He's trying to end things. He's trying to make sure that he's so I want to go a little bit deeper into this topic, and I won't talk
Please
too
do,
much
Mike.
about it.
Please provide some depth to
Trump
this.
is about he's about brand and reputation. That's what all of that's what his company is. Okay, his brand is his word, and his reputation is his image. Basically, how people look at him. It took a hit, but one thing that in New York people knew about Trump was you stayed at a hotel of his. It was gorgeous. The service was great. You knew you played a golf course of his. You knew you're going to get a top tier golf course with great amenities. Okay, it's the same thing now. It's a psychological thing with him. I told all these people I'm going to end this war. I'm going to get this done. I have to do that because that's my brand. I got to figure out how to do that. That's my reputation. That's my word. So right now, he tried to accomplish a lot of things in his first term, but the bigger thing is now it's his second term. He has nothing left. So I have to leave on a top note. I've already accomplished what I wanted to get done by getting reelected. I showed people that people like me. I showed them my human side. Now he's like, okay, I'm going to show them my business side by keeping my word and getting things done. And I'm hoping that he does that in certain areas. We'll
Yeah.
see, but it's a psychological thing for him.
So let me ask you guys this. So my pops believes this was his statement. He said that he believes that Trump will go in hard, elect a lot of really capable people, and then by the second year of his term, he's going to bounce. Like my dad thinks he's no desire to stick around and play with his balls. Like as soon as he gets what he wants done, he's going to just leave it to what's it, JD
Vance, yeah.
Yeah,
You mean still be the president, but take more of a step back,
I think I
not be
don't
as
know.
active.
I'll have to clarify with my dad, but my dad thinks he'll just bounce, and I don't know.
I don't think that's the case because that's not his personality, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
the dude's a fighter. The dude, like how many people that get indicted, get convicted, turn around, keep going. Everybody keeps telling him he's never going to win. Then turns around, keeps getting on the road, financing donation problems with his campaign. Don't worry, I'm not. That won't stop me. Pivots and goes in a different direction. The guy's a fighter, and I can't see that. That guy is going to be. It's just he's part of a different generation. He's built different, and I can't see that happening.
But what I would see is him propping up his replacement.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What we're going to see after the 2-year mark is we're going to see who's running.
You guys, go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, that's what we're going to see. The 2-year mark. That's what we're going to see. 2 years, and then we're going to see somebody come in, and Trump's going to be like, "This is the guy."
I feel like that all of these really smart, capable people that have joined his team are like the next episode of the Real Life Apprentice. Like, which one of these motherfuckers is going to do enough so that I can like promote them? Will it be Vivek? Will it be Tulsi?
Vance.
Will it be JD Vance? Will it be RFK? Let's see who will become the next apprentice on The Real Apprentice. This is your life, bitch. You know what I mean? Like
presidential version, presidential episode.
That's a great short right there. The Real Life Apprentice.
Yeah, for sure. I believe. I think
the governmental version.
That I didn't even occur to me because I forgot he was because I never watched The fucking Apprentice. I don't give
a guess
fuck.
What, McCartan? You're fired.
I almost got fired from Delicious. I'm not playing enough minimal. I mean that's great. So yeah, some things moving and like on track. I haven't seen a lot of other news though. And like do you guys feel it's a little scary how quiet some of the regular opposition is, and I think.
Oh no, they're coming out in droves for this Doge thing. Oh my gosh, have you seen some of the stuff that's come out?
It's not as loud as it was in the past. I think
No,
they're
no,
gonna write they're gonna write
yeah.
their
So I
hit pieces, but
think
it's not as loud.
I think there's quite a few people that are terrified, and they're acting different in different ways. Like I think there's a bunch of people that. So just so we're clear, Doge, the Department of Government
Governmental official.
Efficiency. There's a bunch of people come out like, oh, this is the terrible idea. They're going to cut Medicare and they're going to cut Social Security, and it's like, that's stupid. But I think that there's other people out there on both parties. To be clear, we're talking about both the left and the right that are like terrified and are keeping their mouth shut because they don't want to get found out. So yeah, but there's a bunch of people jumping up and down right now about it. So
what do you think? What do you guys think about Gates sort of like changing his tune very quickly, and being like, oh, I'll work with Trump,
Well,
Matt
I think
Gaetz, the
no,
Attorney General.
Bill
Bill
Gates.
Bill Gates.
Oh.
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think one, a lot of these companies and media outlets, like going back to you, Chris, talking about these media companies, these news companies, they're going to have hit pieces, but they're not throwing out as many hit pieces because they realize that hasn't worked. They realize that they have alienated their audiences, and they realize that their ratings have taken a hit, and people are not tuning in as much anymore. So how do you rebalance it? You
fire everybody, dude.
Well, supposedly the one company that everybody clearly knows doesn't like Trump and has had issues with Trump is CNN. Supposedly they're firing another 100 people, which includes some pretty big names. So they're trying to take more of a neutral ground. They're hiring more Republican or conservative, hosts, or should I say commentators, and they're trying to do some things of that magnitude. Gates is doing the same thing. It's just a different perspective. Gates realized, okay, I don't have a good image in society. So how do I change that image? Well, first, he's okay. I'm willing to work with Trump. And then the second thing is, how can I use my company to leverage and become likable again in society? So right now he's trying to be the good guy, but I hate to put it this way. His reputation is spoiled. It's done. And, like, too many people have seen it for what it is. And I talk to a lot of Democrats just in general that have no respect for him in its own right in New York. And it's not a small amount. It's a pretty large amount.
Really?
Everybody continues.
That's
Yeah, well,
interesting.
the whole thing is one of the bigger things is the whole thing is during when COVID was going on. Everybody was like, "Well, he's not a doctor. He has no scientific training, no doctoral degrees. Okay, you can read a book and you can spew all these things." And people were just like, "Why are we listening to him in so many perspectives?" So a lot of people lost a respect for him. So I think he's doing the same thing a lot of these companies are doing.
What do you think? What do you think's going to happen to our boy Fauci? You think anything's going to happen there?
Oh, he's going to get picked up by some pharmaceutical company, get paid a ton of money.
I don't think that's going to be the case. I could see him being a consultant. I could see him doing speeches, but I think right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he's scared because Trump's back in office. All these people were going after him, and they had serious concerns. Now you got to remember, the Trump administration's in there. They have unfeathered ability to see all the documentation, see everything.
Not just that, they have all three branches, right, including the Supreme Court, right, the House, the Senate, and the executive, and they just got a ruling that gives the executive what's it called, amnesty over executive orders. So I mean, like, it is a big arsenal here that the Republicans have put together. So I think this is going to be a really good test of stewardship on whether or not. And I think a lot of them are I like a lot of their policy ideas. I love all this efficiency stuff. I think it's ridiculous that you can order a fucking pizza on your phone, but you can't do anything that's related to the government as quickly as possible. And I hate to say it, I think the DMV might even be the most advanced of the fucking government, right? I mean, even with just not having the ticket system anymore. I mean, like, whatever the
ticket system was great.
Sure, but I mean, like, I would hate to have to look under that hood, and I think it's going to be a lot more fun than it was to fire all those crazy people that were
Have you seen the
on
list of
Twitter.
some of the things that they're cutting? Oh my God. $1.3 billion in benefits to dead people.
One to debt. Why were we paying benefits to dead people?
Yep. 1.3 billion in federal benefits paid to deceased individuals.
Well,
Prisoners
that doesn't
prisoners
shock me.
collected 171 million in unemployment.
Well, how about this? Let's give one better. Okay. How about we accidentally sent $6 billion to Ukraine accidentally?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we had the whole issue, the fires in Hawaii, which we gave everybody $700 for. I forgot who did it. It was a study. It basically said that if they rebuilt every home in Maui at that point, it would have cost the federal government $5 billion. Five
Well,
billion.
So but Maui's really expensive. Like if you're living out there, you're kind of an asshole anyways. Like there's not
Let's not alienate any of the people that listen to our podcast. That's from Maui.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I don't
So,
care. If you have enough money to have a house in Maui, tough shit. That's what I'm gonna say.
there's a $33 million on a study about transgender monkeys.
That's
money.
important.
That's very important.
I would hate. I tell you why, because I would hate for the wrong monkey to use the wrong monkey bathroom. Because I would hate to have
that could be a major problem.
Right, somebody that doesn't know their gender, especially a monkey, accidentally go into the girl's monkey bathroom instead of the guy's monkey bathroom.
How dare you misgender?
We hate to see female monkeys throwing poop instead of male monkeys throwing poop. It's just travesty. There's another good one. FEMA's budget for 2026 for COVID-19 is $70 billion.
I thought we dealt with that. I thought we had a vaccine. I thought
their budget for 2026 for the pandemic for COVID-19 is $70 billion.
What the fuck are we doing here?
That's like if I got a bill for Mariah Carey Christmas CD that I bought 15 years ago. Like I would be, isn't that done? Are we fucking over with?
The federal buildings have 12% occupancy for federal employees. The maintenance on the federal buildings right now is $2 billion a year on 12% people being in the building. And the leases for the buildings are $5 billion a year.
What the fuck is what the fuck is this? Like the more you dive into these numbers,
I know it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It's out of control.
The Department of the Health hired 300 people that are DEI hires for a total of 40 million last year.
Well,
I mean, honestly, bro, like 40 million to help underrepresented people get jobs. I'm actually cool with that. Like, I don't mind that. But 6 billion
though?
No, 40 million, but 300.
No, I'm saying for 300 employees.
Sure, that's probably as many as there are that are competent. I don't want to hire anybody that can't fucking do a job. Like that's what really scares me about all this stuff, is that like how's this? Your emotions aren't gonna land the plane for you. So like if you feel a certain way about something, I understand and I want to learn to your point of view. But if you can't fly a fucking plane, you should never get a job flying a fucking plane. Like
that's kind of what they're implying. But yeah, we spent $60 million in China on promoting gender equality.
In China,
good money. Like I got to be honest with you, it's just out of control, ridiculous. It makes me frustrated the fact that we just waste so much money, and it's so stupid. Like honestly, we can't in FEMA right now with all these hurricanes get the resources and the money down to people, actually Americans that are having real issues. Homes destroyed, homes that caught fire, hurricanes, whatever the case is. We can't even find the money for them, but we can send 60 billion, we can send 80 billion, we can send 60 million, all these other fucking countries, and we forget about the people here. And the problem is I pay my taxes the same way as everybody else pays their taxes that live in the United States or should be paying their taxes. Okay,
Yeah,
I
from
hate to say this, but
OnlyFans. Yeah, from OnlyFans.
yeah, from OnlyFans. As a tax-paying citizen, I want my I want to be taken to be known that my government's going to take care of me just in case there's something happening. What I mean by that is if there's a national security issue, I don't have to worry about it. What I mean by that is we're not going to be spending our tax-paying dollars in other issues in other countries that are a complete waste of money that we shouldn't be giving money to. I'm just, it's just ridiculous to hear this over and over, and then everybody has a justification for it. Oh, okay, it's money well spent. We're changing cultures in other countries. Nearly $60 million in China, trying to illustrate that. I got news for you. It's never going to work. It's never going to happen in China.
Right.
Okay.
And right, I agree with you, Mike, and I feel like the American public, right, because of and before Mike destroys his computer and smashes it, because
I'm going to throw it through a wall.
I saw the
making me
rant
aggravated.
the rant meter. We need a rant meter here. That'd be great. Like if there was a little rant meter, I'm gonna work on that. And now I lost my fucking point. Jesus Christ. And so I think what people have a small bit of tolerance for some of the, let's call it, whenever there's big money being thrown around, some of the shit falls on the floor and people pick it up. Like, I feel like I'm okay with some of that, right? Because it's a tough job. And, just being in a room where somebody's, you're in a decision that involves multi-million dollars, right? You can't, it's not for little kids or people, building houses. But I do believe that it's become so obvious. And especially these past couple years, where we've seen like American people in America need stuff, right? And here's what I don't like, right? It's like, hey, look, I don't know. Somebody in California says, I don't know, I want to cut my penis off. And all of a sudden there's $60 billion to be able to cut off people's penises. We haven't even done any fucking research on whether that's even a thing. And then a hurricane hits North Carolina, but there's no fucking money for the hurricane. But if you want to cut your fucking dick off in the middle of California, there's plenty of money for you to do that. I don't really understand if this is really a true reflection of the values of the American people.
Well, the problem is again, we talked about this a million times. Incentive structures are broken, and so in the government, it's always the use it or lose it policy. That's essentially been what's the driving force for finances in the government for a long time.
I think that's a great motto for transgenderism. Use it or lose it.
Well, yeah, I mean, so what's frustrating about that is so like, you get $1 million budget and you're what ends up happening inevitably every year, right? You find yourself in September, you have $20,000 left or whatever it is, and you have to spend it before October 1st, otherwise you lose it. Yeah. And so it's because it's incentivized to waste spending because you don't want to lose your budget for the following year. And so like you see this all the time in the Department of Transportation. They have these budgets and they don't know what to do with the money sometimes. And so you ever see road crews in like September, like fixing potholes?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to lose the money they have, or they'll just repave a road that has no need for repaving because they don't want to lose the money that they have, what little money they have left, because they don't want their budget to go down the following year. And there's got to be a way to. I was always frustrated with this when I was in the military, and I always thought that the best, a better policy, let's just say, would be to give back the money that you didn't spend and incentivize you to not spend money, so you get more money. The other thing too is that if you have money that you didn't spend and you invest it, right? Like it's going to make more money.
Sure, but
novel fucking idea.
I think
that's so fucking smart of you.
That's a great idea. I feel like there's something I should be talking about that's tied to the Fed here, and I can't put my finger on it, but I think because we are slaves to the Fed, and the Fed makes money only when it lends money to the United States government. And so that's the only time it makes money, bro. I mean, it's literally if we paid all the shit back, the Fed would end us, right? And who knows? I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Well, yeah. Part of the problem is that there's no way to keep track of that. So which is a simpler model. either use it or lose it, or we'll incentivize you to not spend it by giving you more money the next year and then investing the money that you didn't spend. Which one's easier? Right. And so
Just
like
spending it as much as possible.
yeah, so we'll just spend it and whatever, nobody cares. And then it just requires less work for somebody else to do if you just have a simpler policy. And what we're finding is that, okay, that might have been cool 20 years ago when the entire federal budget was, tiny, but now the Department of Defense's annual budget is like $1 trillion. And
we're going to need it.
I think what was it in 2020? The Medicare and Social Security and welfare was the same as the Department of Defense. The budget was the same. It was like $1 trillion. Like,
I think I think right now the interest payment on our debt exceeds the Department of Defense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. I heard that. I think this is the first year, right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not good, guys. I mean, comparatively, if we start looking at like in the last two great, what do you call it, empires? Like some people, for those of you out there who don't know this, but Rome was not the last great empire before America. There was a couple more. It was the Dutch, and then the British, and then the Americans, right? And so like I think that if you look at some of these empires that were coming up, you have to look at sort of like when they reached this peak where they began to kind of slowly like take a downturn, and every time that happens, these people print, or these empires, they print a lot of money, man. And what ends up happening is that they overprint and overpromise overseas, right? And then that devaluates the money that they're printing till it gets to the point where like nobody wants to buy your printed money anymore. And so I always hate it when motherfuckers start printing money, because there's never been a situation in history where you've been able to print your way out of a problem. It just hasn't happened. In fact, that's a good indicator that we're not in a great place. So, regardless of who's in office, I do think that, looking at the situation that America has gotten itself into up until this point, and I'm not saying that won't change with some of the right structure, but we are definitely exhibiting the behavior of a struggling empire on its way down. And the number one thing, and I know there's a lot of other factors, is this like printing your way out of stuff. And like, no offense, man, but like, and I know COVID was a dangerous thing, but like less motherfuckers died from COVID than the flu. And it, like, how much money did we print? And like, and I'm glad to be alive, but like, not at the cost of my entire fucking country. And and look what's happening in Ukraine. And I don't know what's happening in Ukraine, but there's been so much money that's been gone through there. And then I read an article that Zelensky's wife is in Switzerland buying herself a Ferrari. Like, that shit really makes me angry. And so like, is it a war? Is it I feel like a war would have been over in like 2 fucking days. Like,
I mean, to your point, what is it, Zimbabwe hyperinflation? There was a point in time where it was like 1 million to 1 Zimbabwe to American. It got so bad that if you weren't carrying over $1 million in million, whatever their currency was, that you couldn't even buy like potatoes for like less than a couple million. That's hyperinflation. Yeah. That's what happens when you print too much money. So let's not go there for sure.
All right, guys, I'm going to have to do some things here with my computer for a bit. So just keep the conversation going.
What are you doing? What are you doing over there?
What are you doing, Ricardo? What do you got going on over there? Huh?
You downloading the Diddy list? And your computer's crashing?
No, I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you guys what's happening. And so one of the outlets on my MacBook is broken. So only one of them can be used at once. And so my computer is running only on batteries. So I have to plug the camera and the microphone in, right? And so now I thought I'd be able to make it through the show. It's telling me that, 40 minutes into the show, the computer's going to die. So I have to figure out a way to do this with my power on. So I might have to lose the fancy camera.
Don't you have conductive charging? You don't have conductive charging for your Mac?
You don't have a EV charging station in your apartment?
I don't have that. No, I don't have.
No.
Is that a thing?
No, it's just a joke from the Elon thing. Conductive charging is for the new
yeah.
Tesla, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
pull up and the car like charges through like whatever. Yeah.
You don't have like
a
you don't have a USB thing spliced into your power cord? Come on.
I
You're,
do.
You're the
I have,
tech
like-
guy. You're the tech guy.
I did on my other one. But then I had to buy this other one because I lost that one, and this one sucks. If you're Aptiva and you're watching, your products fucking suck. Aptiva. All right, give me a few minutes, guys.
we should review them.
Let me jump into the next budget, the next topic here. This topic is, I believe, Mr. Presley.
Yeah, we can segue into that. Yeah, this is kind of on we touched on this a little bit earlier, but I think it's one of the Iran is negotiating with the UN for a ceasefire for peace, right? And they want to go back to the 2015 nuclear deal that they had that Trump threw out the window. So in 2015, we had a deal with Iran for their ability to have nuclear, whatever it is. And I don't know the details specifically, but Trump threw that agreement out the window when he took over in 2020, and sanctioned them. And then when they finally complied with the regulations that we set forth, then we removed the sanctions. And so Iran is jumping on the negotiating table 2 months before Trump takes over because they know that Trump's not going to play any games. And so they're like trying to get the UN negotiate this deal before Trump take over. And it's kind of desperation to me. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you think they're going to negotiate some deal with the UN that Trump's going to agree to if it doesn't benefit the US? So I think it's a kind of a joke, honestly. It's a little desperation move. They should just call Trump and be like, "What do you want?" I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
I think the best way, like if we really wanted to sort of topple a regime, sort of, the way that look at Mike's eyes already. He's already like, Jesus. All right. The best way to do that is, I think what we should do is just send a whole bunch of people to become franchisees and open like 8,000.
What is happening to you, buddy? You're like frozen and
McDonald's in Iran. And that,
you're like,
I'm telling you, in like 18 months.
I'm still hearing Ricardo from 5 minutes ago.
You're cutting in and out. I think we heard one
something about McDonald's, and I don't know what you did, but your connection is absolutely horrible now.
Yeah, it's horrible. His face is frozen. Look at that face right there.
Frozen. Yeah, he was frozen for half of his speech. So basically, for those of you who were listening, we're talking about putting McDonald's in Iran. So
you said we could franchise a bunch of McDonald's in Iran, and that's how we can have the peace.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over there.
It's not really working.
I think.
What did you do, man? What did you do? I think Ricardo spilled his coffee on his Macintosh. So,
yeah, I got to.
Yeah, I don't know.
My computer for.
Still, his camera's off, and he's still only hearing every fifth word. Yeah, I don't know. It's the whole Iran situation right now is a little bit of a.
It's weird.
It's a tricky situation.
Software.
And thanks, Ricardo. Ricardo's just gonna keep talking right now with his computer. Can you hear me, Ricardo? Oh, I think he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Party!
I was gonna say anyway. So more of the story. We got to get rid of Ricardo. They can get rid of him.
We talk all kinds of mad shit about him, and then put a reel that
he's a pain in the ass. He's the pain in the ass. Like,
put like a reel of us just talking shit about Ricardo.
No, we should do that tomorrow. Let's start it now. Yeah, so Chris, I enjoy doing this with you. Ricardo, on the other hand, hell no. I don't
Fuck,
know what's
man. I don't know why we put up with him. We
in
should
the
do our
world
own
with
podcast. Call it Not
exactly. I think
Ricardo's Patriots.
yeah, almost the what is it? The dual almost Patriots.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah,
No,
I don't know. It's going to be interesting over the
I
next
think
couple of
unplug
months.
the shit,
With
like kind of like this
transition, kind of the way they look
software that
at
we're using to
everything that's going on, how they're going to stop the war in Russia,
stream is
Ukraine,
not.
how they're going to handle Israel and Iran and Hamas over there. It's going to be curious to see because I believe in the past Trump put basically sanctions on Iran and kind of everything pertained to economics, like their economy, and it kind of drained them and kind of made them come to the table a little bit in a
Can I
different
leave?
perspective. That will stop clearly, courtesy of the administration that's in right now. But I think that's going to be kind of like more of the guidelines or the way that they might go this roundabout.
Just
This
keep
round.
going.
I think Trump's going to do the same thing. Sanctions hit them where it hurts, which is the money, the almighty dollar. I could see that being the plan. I can't see them not ending this war without one of those things happening, personally.
Well, so basically before when Obama was in office, Iran was kind of, pissing on the deal. They were just kind of doing whatever they want. They weren't really letting the UN inspectors in, and they weren't really showing them everything. And, Obama kept being like, oh, come on, guys, let's do this. And then Trump came in and just said, look, we're going to sanction the shit out of you until you start following the deal that we set forth. And,
Yeah.
and Iran didn't want to do it, and so they lost a ton of money. I don't know because I have never looked at Iran's financials, but supposedly, according to Trump, the reason why they didn't have Hezbollah attacking Israel is because they had no money when Trump was in office. And again, I don't know.
They were broke.
I don't know how much truth there is to that because, like, I don't know firsthand, but I mean, it makes sense, right?
Well, they couldn't obtain any weaponry or anything of that magnitude to block black market. But then again, you always had Russia on the backside with Iran.
We left a bunch of that in Afghanistan, so I'm sure Iran got.
Are you saying we left military equipment in Iran?
Yeah, we could go back to the Doge thing about that, just leaving billions of dollars in military equipment.
I can't believe. I don't remember seeing that in the newspaper that we left military equipment in Iran. Oh
yeah,
no!
We definitely
Look who's
did.
coming back.
Oh God!
I see
God.
something. Oh God!
Oh God!
Fuck.
Ricky Ricardo is coming back. He's going to turn a great podcast into Diddy's Lube.
Yeah, he's going to go back and make his inappropriate comments once again. I'm a little concerned. I think he's charging. I think he's charging.
Self-proclaimed Uruguayan Jesus.
Jesus. Nah, and in all honesty, I personally think it's who's the UN ambassador now? Isn't it Elise something from? Isn't she from like Staten Island or something like that? Elise something. Stefanakos, or is that another?
If it says anything about the ambassador, President Peshkin. But the defense minister for Katz. Foreign Minister Abbas Agrachi.
UN ambassador Elise Stefanov. I can't fucking pronounce it.
Yeah, she's just not mentioned in the article that I was reading about.
New York's 21st district. I want to say that's Staten Island. Capital District of New York, North County. Oh wait, hold on. Stephanus District covers both the North Country and the Adirondacks. Okay, I lied. She's not Staten Island. Yeah, she Albany. She up the line. Yeah, going back to what I was saying though is I think with her the relationships are going to be a little bit different. I think they have a little bit more leverage compared to in the past. I think one of the biggest components of all of this that's going on, especially in Iran, is I think Iran personally is kind of a little scared. I think they took advantage of the Biden administration, Harris Biden administration. I think they can't do that with Trump because he's a wild card. They feel like he's kind of cuckoo for coconuts in the head, so they don't know what to do. I think it's going to be an interesting situation. But it's geopolitics 101 though, because what ends up happening is one nation you solve one problem, then with another nation it opens up a million more doors and a million more problems. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it's why just kind of taking care of America is so important, right? I mean, if we got all these geopolitical issues and all this stuff going on, and I'm not saying like we shouldn't, get rid of the Ukraine war and Israel, Iran, but at the same time, though, let's take care of our own
Hmm.
borders, our own people,
Yeah.
and then we can sort of kind of whatever surplus we have, either money or bandwidth, we can start to resolve some of the problems. We really got to stop this whole, we're the quote unquote big brother of the world where we take care of everybody, but we
Yeah,
only
we need to
really,
stop that. We need to stop
yeah,
that. That's out of
it's
control. We need to stop it.
it's just an excuse to spend money is all it's been. It's the industrial complex, military industrial complex, just trying to spend more money. It's
Well, one of my biggest problems with that personally is why we always meddling into everybody's
right.
affair. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand why, like geopolitics, you want to have relationships with countries, so you have to back certain things. But we're always in the middle of everything. I mean, we're always any time there's a conflict, some way, somehow, we're connected. We've done something. We funded something. We're in the middle having conversations. It's gotten to a point where I'm just like, all right, I get it. Like, we want to be the world's big brother, but we shouldn't be involved in all of these things. Like, we have CIA offsites in how many countries? We have outposts in how many countries? We have. It's like it's weird and it's overdone to say the least.
Well, so Ricardo and I talked about this before, and if you look at some of the most industrialized countries in the world outside of the U.S., Germany and Japan are up at the top of the list. Well, yeah. Guess what? Guess which countries didn't have to pay for their own national defense for the last 20 years or 50 years? Sorry, Japan,
Uh,
Japan and Germany are two of the most developed industrial countries in the world outside of the U.S. and China and Russia, and they didn't pay for their own national defense since World War II. We've
mhm.
been paying for the national defense, and so now
Why?
they've exactly, well, because uh,
I can
you
understand
know
why. I can understand why Japan, with the relations with China and that all those issues there. I can understand that, but why Germany?
that's just how we did it. That's how we decided. So Germany's, Japanese Defense Force has only been authorized since like before COVID, like 2018, I think. So basically, they had no standing military, and Germany had restrictions on what they were allowed to have for a long, long time, and
Why were
essentially
those restrictions?
because they're
World War Two.
World War II. No, I get. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it, but like at the same time, though, we're not recouping any of that money, right? I mean, we protected
No, we
them
don't.
from invasion from other countries for 50 years, and probably 50 years or more 60 or 70 years, and we're not getting any of that money. So
No,
uh,
not at all.
I mean, I understand having Ramstein as a strategic base. I mean, uh, it's the basically whenever you get injured and in war, I mean, you go to Ramstein. You know what I mean? Like, it's centrally located to everything. It's probably saved hundred thousands of lives, but it's in Germany.
Mhm. Yeah, I
So
get that. I understand that. Yeah, I don't know. I could talk about this topic all day long, but I really want to talk about my passion topic, which is
football.
football. Ricardo, put at the bottom our ticker when it comes to football.
I feel like I'm watching a grandfather on tryptophan
I was
on
just gonna say, yeah,
Thanksgiving. It's like,
yeah.
so there I
I can see it.
was in fighting the Germans with his
Hmm.
like drooping eyelids and just falling
I
asleep.
know. With the with
Honey,
FaceTiming him. Like, I'm sorry, and it's like freezing every 2 seconds.
we didn't have cell phones back in the day. You had to go and talk to the girls in person.
Yeah. All right. So I want to talk about my topic a little bit. One of the topics I want to talk about is football. To Penn State. I'm a big football guy. This past weekend, Penn State
The
had their
whiteout
whiteout
game.
game. Been to a lot of tailgating. I'm talking about West Coast, East Coast. I've been to Miami. I've been to USC. I've been to UCLA. I've been to a lot of games. Rutgers. Yeah, I do. Yes, I just threw Rutgers in with Penn State, Miami, UCLA, USC. I did all those. Um, I will say the Penn State tailgate by far blew every that by far. It's not even close. The amount of people at this game was insane. That tailgate, it was absolutely out of control. I had such a blast, and some of the stories and things that I saw, I will never forget. I mean, they used to be from like 11, 12 o'clock until the game at 8 o'clock. Now, one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life was I'm walking into the stadium and there's like a 65-year-old guy like yakking, throwing up because he's been drinking from 12 o'clock on. I'm talking about this guy had an RV camper right in front of the stadium, and he's throwing up in front of all of his friends on the ground, and his wife is next to him, literally saying, "Honey, drink this water and have this bread." The guy was at least 60. Everybody that was going into the stadium was walking past this guy, just cracking up. Meanwhile, this guy's literally he's throwing up on one way and lays on his back on the other. This guy, I gotta be honest with you, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. But going back to the game itself, I mean, it was out of control. Obviously, Chris, you're a big football fan. What's your favorite tailgating experience?
Whew. I mean, nothing like that. I've been to the Rose Bowl a couple times. That was pretty fun. They block off
Yeah.
that golf course.
Mhm.
That's a good time. The um, the Purdue game was pretty cool. I mean, the tailgating was pretty good. They have so much of the whole city basically revolves around that stadium. So
Mhm.
that was pretty dope. I uh, I went to a playoff game for the Steelers against the Chargers in Heinz Field back when it was still Heinz Field. That was pretty dope. The
Mhm.
tailgating was pretty epic. I actually built my grill in the parking lot with a cast on. And people were coming up to me like the whole
What?
time. Yeah, I had a broken arm, so I had a cast. So I put the grill together with one hand, basically, with
I
like my
quit.
girlfriend was there. And everybody was like, "Dude, this is awesome! How the hell did you do that?" I'm like, "Oh, I fix helicopters. Like, putting a grill
Yeah,
together.
yeah. This is nothing.
This
Putting
is
a grill
easy."
together is nothing. Putting an engine of a helicopter is
So,
completely different.
yeah, that's pretty
I
dope.
was gonna say. So let me ask you your opinion. So, what's your team?
I'm a Ducks fan. Uh,
Oregon, right?
yeah.
Okay. How diehard are you as a Duck fan?
Well, I don't know how do I answer that. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I've toned down my the fanatic part of the fan over the last few years. A buddy of mine actually told me a few years ago. He was like, I don't want to hang out with you when your team loses, and it like really hurt. It like hurt. Like it was like, and I was like, oh crap. So I've been trying to be like a reformed nut job.
Mhm.
So I'm a fan, but like I don't let it ruin my day anymore. Basically.
So how much did it hurt when they lost in the college
Oh my
championship
God.
games?
The worst part about the 2005 championship was the year the Steelers lost in the Super Bowl. So like I lost the national championship game against Ohio State, and then we lost
Mhm.
the Super Bowl against Green Bay, and then the Ducks lost their opening game to Boise State. And I was like, come on, just somebody win.
Yeah. Well, that's the worst. So the reason why I asked you that question is because I find it insane. Like I didn't go to a major university like a lot of these like a lot of the individuals that go to Penn State. Um, I swear to God, Ricardo, you are so out of control. These titles are ridiculous. Um, what I was going to say though is you have 50,000 kids at this school, and the alumni and kind of the identity that they have from these schools, going to these schools, are insane.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, absolutely insane. Like this guy's RV had pictures, like one of the guy's RVs that were tailgating had basically on the back, like pictures of his kids, or not pictures, I want to say, but all the names of family members that went to Penn State. It was decked out in Penn State, you know, the Nitty Lion. They had everything. It's insane. Like a lot of people find like their identity and they find comfort and confidence through the university that they go to. And I mean, it's a die hard like dedication and identity. Like I mean, some of these people, you say something bad about Penn State, and they were literally ready to fight you. And I was sitting there, I was like, hey, don't get me wrong, Penn State, the stadium was awesome. I enjoyed myself. But Penn State's in the middle of nowhere. There is nothing around Penn State. There's a little town, okay, big campus. It's a little town with nothing. The campus was nice, okay, nothing crazy. The football experience was insane. But if you said something bad about Penn State, like the surrounding area, people were ready to fight you. And I was sitting there, I was like, you can you be honest about certain things? Can you sit here and say like it was insane? And I don't know about you, but clearly it seems like you and your Oregon dedication feels the same way.
Oh man, Ducks fans are the worst. Autzen Stadium is a nightmare. Like, I've heard so many stories of people like, Oregon State fans or whatever, like people hitting them with their car after if the Ducks lose, and like just horrible, horrible stuff. It's kind
Oh,
of
I
it's a microcosm of our society as a whole, with this whole like us versus them sort of. We've talked about it before, the zero sum mentality, and
mhm.
it's sad, dude. I mean, it's like they're just it's a form of brainwashing. It's like a cult, and there is no room for rational thought. It's
Mhm.
all emotionally based, and um, I mean, I understand. Like you know, I applaud people that have the ability to stay loyal to something,
Yeah.
and are unwavering in their loyalty regardless of adversity. That's something that's you should be proud of. Um, but like just loyalty for the sake of loyalty is a little stressful. It's a little frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
I will say by far the worst fans that I ever encountered when it comes to college sports ever is Alabama.
oh
There
God,
was a
yeah.
there was a bar in New York City called Ainsworth where they had every Alabama fan for every game. They were the biggest wise ass. And the worst thing about it was like everybody would talk about the University of Alabama like it was like Tuscaloosa was like the most amazing place. And there's nothing like Tuscaloosa, or like Alabama school was just nothing but amazing and it was phenomenal and all this stuff. And it was like they made it sound like it was like the Harvard of the South. Like I mean, like they made it sound like the school was better than Harvard. I to this day, I used to like Nick Saban, and I thought he was a great coach. And there were players on their teams that I liked, but it didn't matter because of the fans. Every time the game was on the TV, I would root against them, and I still do. I hope they lose. Like I believe they're playing Tennessee this week. I think no, they're
No,
not playing
Georgia,
Tennessee this
Georgia,
week. Georgia's
Tennessee.
playing Tennessee.
Yeah, Georgia, Tennessee.
Whoever Alabama's playing this week, I hope they lose. Okay, I hope they lose the rest of the games. Okay, I don't wish anybody gets hurt because I don't wish that upon somebody, but I hope they lose. Same thing in baseball, same thing in basketball, same thing in all their sports. I hope that, quite honestly, that they never finish in the top 25 again. Okay, I can't stand Alabama.
Yeah, well, for those of us are Ducks fans, the team from the north, we don't call them by their actual name. Their head coach is now the Alabama coach, Kalen DeBoer. So we all can pretty
Yeah.
much we all hate Alabama. I dated a girl from Alabama once, a long time ago, and I called her adorably racist, which is another conversation entirely. But her parents were from Alabama. Her dad was on like the '50s championship team or something. I don't remember which year, and so she was legacy, and
Roll
basically
Tide. Roll
her
Tide.
her and her sisters were told like you're not applying to any other school. Like you either get in Alabama or you're not going to college. You
Well,
know, like that's how ridiculous it is down there. It's out of control.
well, what is it? Roll Tide. Roll Tide. Roll Tide. I got news for you, okay? Roll Tide. Let me explain something, okay? Nobody's going to Alabama besides the football program, all right? Instead of watching the sports programs of school, there ain't nothing in Alabama. And I hate
Nope.
to put it that way.
I've been down there. There's nothing around there.
I
It's
remember
kind of
I got into a massive argument one time with this woman. One of my friends, I met them in Jersey, and her friend was from Alabama. She talked about Alabama like it was God's gift to earth.
yeah.
Meanwhile, she
It's
moved,
like the pyramids were built in Alabama and transferred
yeah,
across the ocean or something.
but
It's
she
like
moved from Alabama to New York because she couldn't get a job or she didn't want to live in Alabama, and she wanted to be in New York because there was so much and so many jobs. She was talking bad about New York, but at the same time, she's talking about Alabama was the greatest place on earth. Anyways, I'll stop my rant, but worst fans of all
dude, they're
time. The
awful.
thing,
They're
yeah,
terrible.
but the thing that is interesting is just the. I have a friend that went to Penn State, and I love the kid to death. But every day he sends me a message, and he's always like, "It's about the football program or Penn State." It's something about Penn State. Like it's like somebody made a hype video or something happened on campus where a kid did like a stupid TikTok video, and he sends it to me like I'm gonna be impressed every time. I don't care. I don't care about a kid that made a TikTok video on Penn State's campus. All right. I really don't care. But it's like a sense of pride, if you know what I mean. So I don't know. I get it so messed up. But uh, I don't I didn't have any interaction with date rape at Penn State though. So I just want to clarify that.
Ohio State fans are pretty bad too, FYI.
Oh yeah,
So
they
Ohio
are.
State fans are awful.
They are. They're
But
horrific.
I mean, I think Ducks fans are awful too. So it's and I'm a Ducks fan.
I haven't met any Duck fans I really like that bad, to say the least. Uh,
It's pretty bad in Oregon. It's pretty bad.
let me
Yeah.
explain something. I will take a Duck fan, okay, over an Alabama Roll Tide Crimson fan any day of the week,
But
okay?
I think that's and not to downplay, but I would say that if Oregon had won a bunch of championships and the fans were as bad as they are now, it would be a different conversation. But because Oregon can't win a championship, nobody gives a shit how shitty their
Yeah,
fans are. But
but there's
Alabama fans are winning. They're shitty and they're winning. It makes you want to just punch babies. It's just
yeah,
awful.
but there's a difference though. There's a lot of teams that have tremendous success. University of Miami's football team had a lot of
Those
sanctions and a
fans
lot
are
of
pretty bad too,
violations.
though.
They had a lot of
Really?
they had a lot of sanctions and a lot of violations, but they did win a couple of championships,
Well,
if
it
you
was
know
the
what I'm saying.
'90s. They're all doing coke and
Yeah, well, everybody in the country was. But
yeah.
outside of Miami, though, you have other teams that have won tons. Texas, you have in basketball, you had tons of teams that won. Kansas, St. John's, UConn. You had tons of teams that were successful, but they weren't arrogant. You would go to the fans; they would be
Oh my
very
God,
respectful. Like I
Texas
went to a
fans are
Miami.
pretty bad too.
Nah, Texas. I've only had great rapport with Texas fans, and I think that's because most of the times I'm not hanging out with real fans. I'm hanging out with the women at the game in Austin, so I don't have any issues there. They could tell me Texas is the best, and they could tell me like Texas is the number one state, all that good stuff. Austin is the best, and I just sit there. No, I agree 100% because you're smoking. Um, no, but I've gone to a lot of games, and I still to this day, I just can't stand Alabama. Alabama's just arrogance with their fans are like so ridiculous. Like Oregon, I've met clearly yourself, and several people that are more of a diehard, but It's not like they're throwing everything in your face.
Yeah.
It's annoying. It's annoying.
Brian's talking about Oregon being shitty fans. I've gone to games in Eugene for decades, and we don't burn this mother down.
Yeah. Well, the thing at least Oregon though, the thing I love is Oregon. Anytime you watch them play, besides their teams being talented, their fucking jerseys, their uniform
It's all that money,
combinations
man. It's all that
are
Nike money.
insane.
Nike
It's
money.
insane. I love. Look, Oregon could suck 10 years in a row. I'm still throwing their games on just to watch their jersey combos. Not to mention they have some pretty sick plays, but their jersey combinations are sick. When I was back playing in college, I had a bunch of friends that went to a JUCO, and they were. This is when Oregon's baseball program was just starting up, and they were recruiting heavy a bunch of players that I knew at this JUCO school, and they all went on a visit up there, and they basically took them to a Nike factory up there, like where they had all these combinations. They had it was the most insane thing. More of the story: three kids ended up committing to Oregon, and they had the best time. I think one of the kids, there was two kids. They were both brothers that went up there, but Oregon, I don't have problems with them. I just hope that they win a championship one of these days. Um, Ricardo doesn't even know where he is right now. His computer's cutting out, so we can't even ask him a question because if he tried to talk right now, uh, like Ricardo's basically in timeout right now. Look at his head.
He does not.
He's
He does
like,
not look
he has
happy
no,
at all.
he does not look happy. He does not look happy at all.
I don't know what he did. I feel like he put his computer in the microwave or something this morning, and
By far.
he's just smiling. We just freeze Ricardo's face with a smile in the background, and then we'll just,
Yeah, we'll put that in as a next short.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, I think we've hit most of the topics that we wanted to talk about today. We ranted about how Alabama sucks. It's the worst city, the worst state. Tuscaloosa has nothing there besides the university. Nick Saban's gone, so I don't think that their football team is going to be anything good. Right now, you can see the trend down.
Agree with
Yeah. So, guys, thank you for joining us again on another episode of Almost Patriots podcast. I appreciate it. You guys can check us out on Instagram. Make sure you see our shorts on our Almost Patriots podcast YouTube page, and we will be having a X account and TikTok very shortly. Thanks again for tuning in, Chris. It was always a pleasure talking about your obsession with Oregon and politics. And Ricardo, once again, it was great to have you in timeout.
Yeah, it went way better with Ricardo in timeout the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. While you were gone, Ricardo, we made a whole bunch of clips about how we're gonna make reels of you while we're making fun of you. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to talking with you next week. Same time, same channel. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace. Ricardo's just frozen with his stuff on.
I don't think he hit the end stream.
No, it's still live.
It's still live. Ricardo can't end it. Well, guys, we're back.
Well, we're back.
We're back to talk more shit about Alabama.
We never left. Well, this is a good segue. This is why we need more nuclear power because
Ricardo's computer.
It looks like AI is just draining bandwidth in San Diego, and we need more servers to keep up.
I think Ricardo. By the way, I think Ricardo ended his stream live cast. I'm gonna jump back on the room.
I don't even know if I can end it. I don't think I have the power.
Hold on. He says he's jumping back onto the room. Anyways, let's go back in to talk about how shitty Alabama is. Tuscaloosa is one of the worst fucking cities out there. And personally, because of this one girl, I will continually talk shit about Alabama because it's a dump. Anyways, So what do we have to talk about today? Alabama, the university. Yeah,
Well, I
the
mean, like,
university.
nothing. What was it when Andrew Luck was supposed to win the Heisman and didn't? And I forget what that kid's name was that won from Alabama. When Stanford's running back had better stats than he did.
You talking about McCaffrey?
No, it was
No, Montgomery.
Mike Allstott comes to mind, but I know it's not Mike Allstott for some
No,
reason.
it's the kid from Riverside that played on the baseball team on
Yeah,
Stanford. Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
Garrett something.
Yeah, but he
Oh,
had his stats. His stats that year at Stanford were better than the guy that won the Heisman. I gotta look it up now. But I thought that was such a rob. I mean, it's like, come on, man. Like,
I'm gonna tell you, Tyler Gaffney.
yeah, that's right.
Tyler Gaffney. I knew him, Sam. I can't remember his damn name.
Yeah, Mark Ingram won it that year, and the finalists that year, the running back for Stanford had more yards and more like everything. And
Yeah, Tyler Gaffney. He played on the baseball team as well. I believe he played in the College World Series for Stanford that year as well. Yeah, my problem is Alabama. Like, look, Nick Saban always was a great coach. I always thought he was a great coach. I actually liked him a lot. If you listen to him speak, he and Bennett at Virginia are very smart. They both got out because they realized the game was changing and they can and it's not fun at this point with the NIL and what's going on with the changing of the roster every year to the point where you could lose your starting quarterback if the NIL money is not there.
right.
So it's not entertaining. Um, and
So
quite
since we're talking about shitting on Alabama, you remember a few years ago when they brought a family in after they won the national championship and they dropped the crystal ball and broke it? Did you hear about
oh
that?
yeah, I loved it.
I laughed
In
so
fact,
hard
I
when I read
I
that
I
story.
loved it.
I
That was the
laughed my
best thing
ass off.
because
Yeah.
that's what you get. That's what you get.
That's what you get when you're trying to recruit somebody and let them touch the crystal ball,
Well,
national
let me
championship
explain something.
trophy, and they
Come
drop
on.
it.
Let's talk about this honestly. Did
Fumble.
Alabama all these other programs got in trouble? These behind the door boosters paying these players before the NIL went into effect. Do you really think Alabama turned around and they weren't giving players money? Come on.
Toby Gerhart. Brian came up.
Oh,
Brian came
Toby
through.
Gerhart. That's his name.
Yeah,
Toby Gerhart. I couldn't. Why did I say Tyler Gaffney?
that was the quarterback after Luck.
Yeah, that's right. I just can't Google rightly.
No, it's all good.
Google right. Um, yeah, but yeah. Oh God. So, anyways, Tuscaloosa's a shithole. Um, it's Amesworth in the bar is the bar in the city where everybody goes to. It's Alabama, and they all say the same thing. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They all talk about it. If you're so happy and it's such a great area, go move the fuck back there. Okay, get out of New York. Fucking this girl, you had to hear it. Like this girl, literally, just it
Oh,
made me.
I dated a
It
girl. I
made
mean,
me.
it was
It
insane.
made me hate Alabama so much. And then there was this other kid that my brother used to work at a bank at, who went to school at Alabama, and he like would talk nothing but like Alabama was the greatest thing alive. He told me if I ever went to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, he goes, I would die. He said, I would die. He goes, I wouldn't be able to handle it. Meaning, like, a New Yorker can't go there and be able to go around the campus. Like, it's just too much for me to handle. I was like, bro, I was like, are you serious right now? I was like, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I was like, okay. I was like, whatever you think. More of the story, the kid got fired and he I think he's back in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He might be a janitor. I don't know if he's a janitor. I don't know if he's a janitor. I do remember he got fired, which was another bright day. And you know what was another bright day? I'll tell you another bright day. Another bright day was when watching Alabama lose to Tennessee. That was a bright day. And you know what another bright day was? When Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. That was another.
That was hilarious. I laughed so hard. Uh, I want nothing but DeBoer. I want DeBoer to fail so hard because
Mhm.
that team last couple years they cheated so hard against the Ducks. Ugh. And then
Yeah.
I knew they were going to lose. I knew they were going to lose in that championship game. I knew they were going to lose. Like, there's no way. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Nothing against Penix. I mean, he seemed like a good guy. It's just
Oh yeah. I have nothing. Look, I have nothing against the Washington head coach. I'm not like I am not a like I don't know much about him. I'm not going to sit here and say like I have any ill will towards him. But
oh shit.
one thing I can say, why what happened?
Ricardo just said his CPU meltdown. So I don't know if we can. We have to
Hey
just turn
guys,
off our computer.
we can't turn this off. This is
This
gonna
is
be
the
going on all
podcast
night.
that never ends.
Um, yeah. So let's get back to something though, real fast. Let's talk about how shitty Alabama is again. Um,
So I can leave. I can leave, but I can't end the chat.
yeah, but if we leave, the live stream continues.
Maybe
It doesn't actually end.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
doesn't
know if
actually end.
I don't know if I can end it. I don't think I can end it.
That's a problem. Maybe
Can you end it?
the guy.
Did it make you the
I have
host?
to press leave. I have to press leave.
Oh yeah.
Maybe if some guy that runs the page isn't the only one with the login and control of live streaming ending or not ending it, we could have ended it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyways, isn't it so nice and peaceful when Ricardo's not here? Like, I would
Do you
like
want,
all the viewers to know that Ricardo put that title, okay, at the bottom.
and just mic dropped and walked off.
Yeah, I just want to say he is a menace, and we're thinking about getting rid of him personally. It's so our logo is three guys. We're going to do two guys. We are going to be removing the guy all the way on the right hand side, so it's just going to be the middle and left guy, and he's just going to have to deal with it. Don't you realize how gray his hair is now? His fucking facial hair is so gray, and his hair on his head. It looks like his hairline is receding a little bit since the last time I saw him.
Yeah, we'll make sure he gets that one. Yeah. Receding hairline, his gray beard that he refuses to color.
Yeah, at least, and also the other thing though is you see my glasses, they fit my face like good. His glasses, they look like magnifying glasses. Like what the fuck?
He just refuses to admit that he can't see. So
Yeah, I know. I'm never getting in a fucking car with him either.
dude, I'm getting to the point where I think I might need reading glasses.
Really?
Yeah, I've had like 20/20 vision my whole life, so it's weird now. I'm like looking at tiny letters on my phone. I'm like, fuck, I can't see what that says. Oh my god.
Dude, I'm legally blind, legally deaf, and let me explain.
Sounds like you have great genes.
I have phenomenal genes, actually. I have really good genes. I have really good genes. Okay. This fucking kid is posting on Instagram right now, just into. They can't get back onto the live stream to end it. Anyways, yeah, I have phenomenal genes. Okay. All right, phenomenal
That's okay.
genes.
That's okay. Are they the
Intelligent
Jesus genes? Are they the Jesus genes?
Yeah, JC genes. I actually think he did pitch that once. I remember
I'm not
him
surprised.
telling me that story.
It would not surprise me.
I remember him telling me that story in the past. Like I swear to God, I'm pretty sure he pitched that.
I wouldn't surprise me. I mean, some of the shit he's been involved in is kind of crazy.
I know. Yeah, he's told me some interesting stories in the past, which have been hilarious. So, he's got a very unique marketing side to him, but like even with the marketing side, I really don't know if he contributes anything to this podcast.
Yeah, just we're just pulling him along, just like dead weight, like an anchor.
Yeah, we're the ones pulling this podcast. Like,
Yeah,
what is he?
just Anchor.
What does he bring? Like, and let me ask you a question. What does he bring? Okay, what does he bring? His computer is breaking down. Like, he can't even end the live show. Like, honestly, like, like what does he bring? He doesn't bring the beauty factor. He doesn't bring the face. We're supposed to have that one person that brings over like viewers because they're good looking. It's not him.
My favorite is when I'm doing the reels and I
Yeah.
have to cut out him coughing in the background.
Dude, did you see that video? Like that
Like,
one?
yeah, the
Yeah.
very first one where he's like blowing smoke in the camera. Like,
Well, we had like a Snoop Dogg cloud.
basically, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
He was hotboxing his
it was.
apartment during the podcast.
I was just saying we had like a cloud where you couldn't see him until like
Yeah, he
5 minutes
disappeared
later
from the
when they cleared
camera for
out.
like a good 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty ironic and interesting to say the least. But yeah,
I was actually
I was
making
gonna
fun. I
say,
was telling him the other day that I have to do the same thing. Some of the because of the camera issues that you're having, I was having to like I put a AI clip, a B-roll over you because you were frozen for like 10 seconds. So like you were talking, but like you weren't moving on the screen, so I had to put
Mhm.
B-roll over you not moving.
Yeah, I think my video is a lot better this time.
Oh,
I know.
100%. Yeah, way
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
So just to give everybody a little background, I have an HD webcam that I bought since the first episode, and I've had it connected to my computer. But your boy is a moron because every time he looks up, he thinks it's on, but it's just a green light from the Max computer where it's the FaceTime video. So this entire time, I thought I was using the HD webcam, but nope, it wasn't on. It just kept on clicking out, but
Well, you
perfect.
also used the headphone mic last time, right? You had the wrong microphone on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did that too. As you can
man.
tell, I'm very savvy with the
Yeah, these
technology.
lawyers these days. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can read cases. I can write motions, which by the way, I won my third motion. I just won another motion this month, so feeling a little good about that. I can write motions. I can argue in front of a judge. I can do a trial, but I can't figure out how the fuck to put on a camera on my computer. I can't fucking do it. And I consider myself very tech savvy too, and I am nowhere fucking close to it. God, it's fucking horrible.
I
Um,
I hear you, man. I get so frustrated with some of these. Like every time I download an app and it's like ask me, what the name of my firstborn child is to sign up for something, and I just want to like throw my phone out the window. I'm
oh, tell
just
me
so
about it.
tired of like just. I'm just like I just want to use Google and FaceTime to just log into stuff. I'm so tired of having to like 4,000 passwords to get saved and two-way authentication and all this crap. It just drives me nuts. And I'm just like, can we just and I still can't vote on my phone, and it drives me nuts, man. It drives me absolutely nuts.
No, I agree. I agree. There's a lot of things. I'm just very particular on all the apps I have on my phone, all of that shit. I just read all the agreements because I'm a little bit of a psycho when it comes to the privacy elements of it and what they're actually, obtaining from your phone. I do not like this new Apple feature. Like if you updated your phone to Apple Intelligence, I've read about like what goes into it. I'm not a fan of it. And then also, I really don't like on this new Apple phone is you can record the phone call without the other party knowing you're recording. Like,
Nice.
no, it's really, really fucking evasive that it's just ridiculous. So I'm not a big component. I actually, believe it or not, don't have many apps on my phone to begin with. I don't like using my iPhone. Um, I think everything you do on your phone, where you take your phone, it's tracking you. Everybody says it's the ease of life. It's the ease of life. Having everything at your fingertips. It's so easy to have your cell phone. What's so wrong with writing a check? What is so wrong with uh, you know, going to a bank that that's right around the corner? You need the app on your phone to tell you where the bank is. What's so wrong with going to the bank and just cashing your check? Why do you need always the phone app to send your checks and everything? Sometimes maybe getting out of your apartment, sometimes maybe getting out of your home, doing things is a good idea. Why do we need a Stop and Shop app on my phone that shows me where
Oh,
the
what?
Stop and Shop stores are?
Well,
Or how many points I have?
the new commercial for the face thing from Meta.
Oculus or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
Oculus. Have you heard that commercial for Oculus with Keel and Peel, one of the two. I can't remember which one it is. Um, but he's like, yeah, you want to go to the gym, and then you remember gyms, and you could just use Oculus instead of going to the
Oh
gym.
yeah,
And
that's
I was
exactly
like,
what I want to do.
what the fuck? No, go to the gym. Like, get out of your
Well,
house.
yeah, so it limits everybody's interactions in every facet of life, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm old
Well,
school. I like going out. I like talking to the cashiers. I like sitting there, the tellers at the bank, like talking with them. Everything is like supposed to make your life easier, easier.
well,
Everything's
it's
easier.
the problem is ease of access is it's a function, but the issue is that we have these think tanks spending hours and days trying to you know pull time from your life to the device, right?
Yeah.
They're literally just trying to get how much of a day can we get somebody to look at a screen, right? And that's just Oculus is just another example of them trying to. So it's like, so the phone was the first one, right? So how can we steal people's time during the day to look at the phone, right? And then we got the watch, right? Apple Watch, and that's just an extension of that. And now it's like, well, what's the next thing, right? And I think trying to actually put something on your face to
Hmm.
steal more time is just the next step, because obviously not less people are watching TV,
Oh yeah.
more people are using their phones and their computers. So it's just they're just trying to figure out how to steal time from you so that you're looking at a screen instead of doing, I don't know, anything else that might be healthier. And
Oh, I
it's
agree.
a
And
it's
you know who
addictive as
doesn't steal
fuck.
time from me? You know who doesn't steal time from me?
Are you a cat lady? Do you have cats?
No. You know who doesn't steal time from me? Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama doesn't, because I don't give a fuck about that state or
Well,
that school.
well, unfortunately, you've stolen a bunch of our podcast fans' time by ranting about Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So,
Well,
um,
I'm sorry. Are there any fans from Tuscaloosa, Alabama? Um, yeah, but no, in all honesty, like I really don't like those apps on my phone. I really don't like the phone just in general. Uh, it's invasive in a million different ways. People don't realize it. I, but unfortunately, you need it in today's world. For example, from work, I need my phone, and I need my work phone as well. I, it's very challenging, but if you can limit having your apps, you can limit your communications on that phone. Um, I think you'll be all right. But there's a lot of invasive ways, a lot of invasive things that occur, especially with the apps and what data they can get and the things that they extract from your phone, and you don't even realize what you're giving up. Um, yeah, it's just fundamentally scary. And if you see an app and they're like, "Oh, we're just doing this because we want to make it an ease of access to you," or "Yeah, don't worry about privacy, we're just doing this to help you." Yeah, run the other way if you see that. If somebody says that to you, oh, like the Chase app, right? Oh yeah, we want to make your life easier. Banking, what is it? Banking made easy. Why don't you read the privacy? Why don't you read what like goes entailed with the capturing of data on your phone from that app? Your patterns, where you're going, your movements, your tracking, what's nearby. And it's not always your GPS tracking services like locations and stuff like that. It's also based by Bluetooth as well, which I'm learning more and more. Bluetooth connections with who's next to what, how, and the triangulation. So your tracking services might be off, but it doesn't matter. Your triangulation through your Bluetooth enables them to find your space. So, more of the story, rabbit hole, going down, but I'm not going down the rabbit hole in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
yeah, I was a little annoyed when Ricardo was out here last time. They wouldn't let him sign up for a membership without having the app on his phone to sign up for day
Where?
pass at the gym here. They're like, oh yeah, you got
bad.
to. We were doing it. They're letting me give them a day pass every day, and then finally they're like, oh well, we really need you to download the app, and we're like, oh my god, like
I'm not
this
downloading
is
it.
stupid. Yeah, it's one thing after another. But it could be worse. So I lived in Saudi Arabia for a little while, and so your visa,
Hmm.
so like my green card for Saudi was tied to an app called Absher. Absher tracks your bank account. So you can't have a green card in Saudi Arabia without having a bank account. You can't have a bank account without having a phone, right? And so when you go there, you have to obviously provide all your documentation. Then you have to log into the app, and the Department of the Interior sends you login information through whoever your local contact is. You have to be sponsored, right? So somebody has to sponsor you. They get your login information. You log into the app. You have to physically go to a kiosk to like put your fingerprint in and like put all your information in. You have to have a phone number attached, and you have to have a bank account attached, because they all of the speeding tickets are charged directly to your Absher account, to your
So is
bank
this if
account.
you're living there, or is this for you just visiting?
I don't know how it works if you're like on a travel visa, but like if you're living there, yeah. So like if you wanted the picture tickets, it automatically goes to your Absher account and gets billed to your bank account, and you can't get your exit reentry visa renewed if you have any speeding tickets. So you like can't leave the country until you pay your speeding tickets.
Fuck that.
Yeah, there was another app during COVID called Tawakana that if you didn't have your vaccination records uploaded into the Department of the Interior, then when you went to any business, there was literally a security guard like in front of every store in the city in Riyadh, and you had to show your Tawakana app, and the Tawakana app had to be green, otherwise they wouldn't let you in. And the only way to get your app green is if your vaccination records were uploaded to the Department of the Interior. And every time you went somewhere, there was a QR code. You have to scan the QR code that basically identifies that you're in the building during this period of time. And then when you leave, you have to scan the QR code to say that you're leaving the building. And if anybody got COVID in that building in the same time frame when you're scanned into the QR code, then you get notified that you're in close proximity, and your app check mark changes to purple, saying that you potentially have COVID. And the only way to change your app green again is to go get a COVID test. And then you have
I'm
to
not
send your
going to this place.
you have to send your COVID test results back to the Department of the Interior to get approved before you can go to a store, before you go
Okay.
into public.
This is a little too much. I'm never going back.
So I'm just
I
saying
won't
it
go
could
there.
be worse. It could be.
If you think we're not going towards here,
Oh my
you know,
God, it's terrifying. We're not that far away from that, unfortunately.
not good. All right, I'm gonna jump off. Um, I'm hoping that if we close the window, it ends. Can't
We'll find
guarantee
out.
it.
We'll find
But
out.
everybody, thanks for staying on for another 18 minutes after we realized we couldn't end the podcast. Courtesy of our IT guy's computer hard drive blowing up and he can't log on. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please be on the lookout. Check out our Instagram page and also check out our shorts. We'll be
Yeah,
back
we're
here
gonna.
again Thursday.
I think we just hit 20,000 views, so appreciate all the people going out there and following us and watching our videos.
Appreciate it all, everybody. We'll be back here next Thursday, and I promise I won't tell you how much I hate Tuscaloosa, Alabama ever again. Maybe I will. You'll never know. So have a good one, everybody. Have a great night, and see you next Thursday.
Peace.